Hi, I'm Minky Kim from Sewing Illustration. Today I am at Riley Blake Designs and to show this big quilter tote. And I'm super excited how easy it is. This bag can carry almost everything you want. I want to show you what's inside. Big quilt pouches of your sewing notions, another pouches, another, and big a fat quarter bundle, and it still has room to fit in. This bag is originally designed with a patchwork, but if you want to make more bag within a quick amount of time, you can use your favorite big print and then make a lot. Today, I will show you how. These are the materials you will need. The first thing you need to do is making the exterior panel. To do that, you need to decide the front fabric, exterior fabric, and lining, and the bottom fabric. And I personally always choose the dark color because the bottom goes to dark on the floor, so you don't want to get dirty easily. So I chose this fabric, and then cut the fabric the size the pattern says. And then with this exterior fabric and then bottom fabric with the right side down together, stitch it with the 1/4 inch seam, and then press. And then with that assemble the exterior panel, put aside, you need first to lay down the lining fabric with the wrong side up on your table, and then with your foam bedding on top. And then finally assemble the panel on top like this. For this material, this bag is big, so I like to use fabric adhesive. The thing is, you just fold the in half like this, and then spray half, and then it looks like this. You just apply like this, and then press, and then press, and then another half like this, and then spray, and then fold again, and then press, and then go to your iron and press, and then flip with your finger like this, and then with the same manner. Just fold the half of the lining and apply your adhesive, and then fold, and then press, and then go up, and then apply, and then iron. And then lastly, I would pin all the layers together. Not too many because we already applied the fabric adhesive. It won't much, but to secure like this, I would do that like that. In the same manner, the side. And then we are going to quilt the layers. The important thing, and then when you quilt the layers, I choose the thread. It goes with the print fabric, and also the bottom I use a dark color fabric. I use the black fabric, black thread for this, and then I stitch about 3/4 inch of the spacing and straight stitch it this way. But if you are free motion quilt, you can use the free motion, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just the quilt nicely, and then it will look like this. And then you repeat the step and make 2, and then trim the size it mentioned on my pattern. So now we are going to make the square for the bottom corner. So as I usually draw on the exterior panel side, but this is the dark color, so you don't show. So I would draw here. So grab your ruler and then place and matches, and then using the fabric pen, draw a square like this in the same manner, draw the square is the size the mentioned the pattern says, and using with a ruler or using a rotary cutter or scissor, trim the excess like this. Now your exterior panel is done. Move it away. Now it's time to attach our binding. I'm going to move this away. Take your binding strip, place on your iron board, press in half, fold in half and press. And now my tip is take your binding, attach your binding to the lining side, not the exterior side. I will show you why. First, the binding is a little longer, so make it on the center, so it's on the even space, and then place on your lining side of back panel, and then pin. I like the binding is a little long, so you can trim later, because while you're sewing, if it is short, you don't like that. So cut a little long lining, and then stitch the binding on the lining side. Now we stitch the binding. We're gonna press the binding toward the exterior panel side. So press like this. And then fold this binding over to exterior side, so it covers the raw edges. And then put it like this. To make it easy, you can apply a little dots of the fabric glue, but I will skip this part now. Okay, just I'm gonna wrap it. And this time, make sure your thread is matching with this. You don't want to show other color of thread showing, because it's outside of the bag. You want to make it as pretty as possible. So I set my stitch length 3 millimeter. And then using the dark thread, I'm going to top stitch. So you stitch on top, so your outside of exterior panel is nice. That's why I attach your lining, your binding on the lining side. So now trim the excess binding. Then make 2. Repeat the step and make 2. So now it's the time to make handle. You have the poly strapping. I got this from byannie.com, and you can use cotton batting if you want. And then I chose this to my handle. I cut shorter than what I used, because to make this process quick. So the finished handle looks like, and this long. So I will show you how I made this handle. So first, with the handle fabric, just by eyeballing about inchy, fold with your finger and press. Doesn't have to be exact size. And then your polystrapping gonna be here, and then you're gonna have about an inch or less of the handle fabric, and then you fold like this, just to measure where it goes. What I'm going to do is wrap with the fabric, wrap this strapping with the fabric, so like this. So which one go first doesn't matter. And then you kind of know the width of the strapping, so you fold in half, and then this is gonna be this much, right? So that's how I'm going to press. If you want, you can draw the line, but the fabric is stretching, and then you can always change it. So I just do eyeball and make sure it's here, doesn't move. And then meet here together. I'm gonna put it here so it shows well, like this. And then pin, clip, and then, so by eyeballing, it just matches, so really doesn't matter to measure and then draw a line before. But if you want, you can do the like 1 inch line here, and then you fold it through the drawn line and then iron. And then you may ask why I use this much of a fabric to wrap it. Because the thicker handle is a stronger handle, so I cut more than enough. So because, and then we're gonna quilt the handle that will make it very strong, because this is a bag, it's big, and then you wanna carry a lot of things, and you don't wanna have a weak handle, that's why. So just roughly pin, and my tip is use your fabric glue, or school washable glue works fine, and it's cheaper. So what I do is apply this glue where the folded edge, and apply small dots like this, and carefully so it doesn't stick on your iron board. And then press. That way, sewing the handle would be a lot easier later. See, it sticks. So take more time, and then you have a better result. If you are in a hurry, then the finished project is not as neat as you hope. So I recommend you to take your time. And the glue is very handy if you use the glue. And then the end is the same. So do not glue yet, because we need to fold the end of edge like this. Fold, and then fold. It's like wrapping the gift, you're strapping with your fabric, like this. And if you wanna be quick, then use the pretty ready-made strapping, the cotton webbings, whatever, that goes with your bag. If you want, you can use the leather handle, but it's hard to make a hole and then sew because this is kind of a layered bag. I mean the thick layer. So this is how I end. Okay, I'm gonna finish the glue here too. Now I'm going to change the thread that matches with the handle, and then I'm going to start sew. Now I start to sew the handle using an 1/8 of an inch seam. Stitch all the way along the folded edges. So at the end of the handle, because while you sew, the fabric kind of stretches, what you can do is fold a little more, because mine's sticking out. So I'm gonna put it inside, or you can just trim it off. Okay. And then you want to stitch it along the way again for the strength. And you don't want your fabric like moving. So the center, I just by eyeballing it, I'm gonna stitch the middle of the handle like this. Yep. Go back. And then turn. And then now I'm going to stitch another middle, another center. So it will be like a little more than the 1/4 inch or 1/4 inch. And then lastly, now you are done with your handle. Repeat the step and make 2. And then this is a sample again. So your actual handle gonna be this long. I'm gonna put this sample aside. Okay. After you making the handle, we are going to attach the handle on the lining side, because you can do this way, but as this is outside, I don't want to show my handle outside like this. But if you ask me why your handle is so long, because if attached this much and it's not strong enough to hold a lot of things, so if your handle goes to this and then you attach it this much, that it has more support when you put a lot of things, you know. That's why I make this handle long. And I personally don't like handle go here all the way and then show, but it's just a personal preference. So this is my design, and then this is another idea of bag making. So I'm going to show how to attach my handle. First, we need to find the center of the bag, center of the exterior panel. You can use the ruler, big ruler, or fold in half like this, and then mark the center using your fabric pen. And then from the center, you mark the even as the mention on the as the size on the pattern. You mark, and then from the center again, you mark. This is where your handle goes. And then before that, you also mark the where handle goes, that means on the top of your bag. So I already marked here and here. So we're gonna put it like this. So the very important thing, remember, you make sure your handle is not twisted, and that this round line matches the end of your top like this. And then another thing is, you don't want to your handle this way or this way, so use your ruler and it's even all the way. I would say like this, it's even. So ruler is your guide, and then put it here, and then with your hand being fold, and then pin. It may move while you're pinning, so I recommend you keep checking. Let's see. Okay, I'm happy. Again, here. And then your ruler is on the guide, so the handle doesn't move. And then put the pin. And then again, check again. Okay, done. I'm not happy with this because I forgot to match this line, okay? So I'm glad I did this so you don't make the same mistake I did. Okay, put it matches, it's all the way the same, and it's here that you marked. And then this long handle is aligned on the side like this. Okay, now I'm happy. Okay, and then pin. So let's start to stitch. To stitch the handle, make sure your bobbin thread is the same color with your exterior quilted thread, because you don't want your bobbin thread is white and it pops up too much because it is outside. You want to make it pretty as possible. So I already changed the bobbin thread. I'm gonna stitch from the lining side. Stop right under the binding, and then use the handle, the seam line, the stitch line as a guide. So you stitch it over. And then stop, and then turn. Because you don't want to add another stitch line, so I'm just the stitch over on top of the handle stitch. And then fold this way like this. It is big, so it doesn't go to other way. And stop. And you want to do it again because it is a handle, it's stronger the better. And especially this side, I would do a couple times, stitch a couple times. Here and back. And then done. Now attach my one side of a handle. I'm gonna do it again to go to my machine and do it again. Now I finished attaching the handle. Oops. Erase the mark. You can do it later, just I wanna see it now. Okay, so you repeat the steps and make the second back and the handle panel. So you have two of these. So it's time to assemble. To assemble with the right side together, place the panels together, and then pin the layers, matching the raw edges. Now I'm going to stitch the bottom side first, and then stitch the side, and then lastly I'm gonna corner the back. So to stitch the bottom together, you need one step of binding. Just cut a little longer, like this, and then with the right side together, place on one of the lining side panel, and then repin. Or you can base the stitch together first and then add the binding later, but I wanna do it this way. So you go to the machine, and back stitching. Now you're done. You go to the iron. And then fold the raw edge to the center, and then fold again to hide the raw edges. And then pin and stitch. So it's basically how all the quilters making the binding. It's all same. Just to make sure to cover. I try to cover the first stitch line with my folded edge like this. And I use my binding is an inch and a half wide. So I'm gonna finish the binding. Now I finished attaching the binding on the bottom. Just trim the excess binding. Now we are done with the bottom. And then now we are going to attach the side with the lining, with the binding fabric. This time make sure this is aligned on the end of raw edge, and then pin. And this is important part. Cut like an inch long, like this, and then stitch it first, and I will show you the next part. And then back stitch it at the beginning. Then make sure everything is all lined up. Back stitch. So now I show you why I make this long, because I want to wrap this raw end with the binding. So go to the iron, press like this, and then flip it and press half, fold in half. You don't need to really, if you want, you can use just by hand fold. Fold by hand, you don't need to iron. So, like this. So, from here, what I'm going to do is fold in like this, and then fold again, and fold again, so all the raw edges is covered with the binding. So that's why you need the longer binding. And then fold. And fold. And here you don't care because you don't need to worry about it because when we after bind, we need to box the bottom anyway. So leave it like this. So I'm gonna stitch with the machine. If you have time, you can hand the stitch for cleaner finish, but I'm gonna do it with the machine here today. Back stitch at the beginning, and then cover the previous seam line with your folded edge of a binding and stitch. Okay, I'm finishing up here my binding. So make sure the end is neat and nice. Take your time, stitch it slowly. Stitch it slowly. The line, you don't want your binding the longer than your back, right? So it's nicely folded inside. And make sure you're happy, and then stitch slowly and stop here, and then back stitch it a couple times because it's end of your back. You don't want it to loose. So I did it like a few times, and now you are done the side. So trim the excess binding. So the lastly, okay, make sure you're happy with the end of the binding. And then lastly, we are going to box the corner, okay? So put your bag flat on your sewing table like this. Put your bag on your sleeve, and then match the center and the center. They are matched up, and then they are all lined up. And with your pin, like this, and this is another. This is small. Okay, take your. Where's my binding? Okay, here. Take your binding strip, and it's the same. It's gonna be the same as you did the same side. Make sure it's longer, about ½ inch long on both sides, both ends, and then repin like this, and start sew. Make sure to back stitch. So this is a little bulk because you have a binding here and then binding down. So I would press the binding go opposite direction to reduce some bulkiness. Okay. Make sure to lock the stitch. And then now you press the binding. This is a little longer, so I would trim this much. And then it's the same way you did here. So fold the right inside like this, and then hold with your finger so it doesn't move. Fold again, and fold again like this. And what I always do is do the side first and the center middle, and later move it to inside and then hold with your finger and fold again. So while you fold this part, another finger is holding it so it doesn't move. And then move again. Fold again like this. And then you just fold in, tuck in like this. So you do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to stitch here. So this way, all the seam allowance are covered nicely with your binding. And again, hold your thread so it doesn't make any bulk at the start. Oops, like this. And then back stitch. Make the back stitch when you start. And then again, stitch again. Now we are done with the side, no, the bottom. So with the same manner, I will do the same. I will Now we are done making this bag. Let's just turn this bag right side out. This is the most excited moment. Make sure with your finger, all the corners are nice and looks nice and well. So take it out, and then make sure there's no any mark, fabric mark, and then erase. Oops, by ironing. So now it's a Quilter's Big Tote. You can find the pattern on my website, and all the links is on the description box. You can find more about me on my shop, sewingillustration.com, and also Instagram at Zeriano. And I'm so happy to share my tutorial here at Riley Black's Design. Thank you for watching.